You're not supposed to stick your nose in it. You're supposed to get a drink.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Good Store Homestead. Yeah, we disappeared for a couple of months, but we're back, and I wanted to give you some updates. We've had ups and downs, we've had losses and gains, and I wanted to show all of that to you and just update you on where we've been the last couple of months. By the way, this is Ayoka. She's one of our newest additions. Alright, so sit back, relax, and hopefully I won't make this super long so you can enjoy it. Alright. Aw. Thank you, baby. Alright. Alright, so this is Ayoka, and she is our newest addition to the homestead. She is super smart and super sassy and stubborn, and she is doing great. She is a healer mix, and she's got an interesting story, and she is currently watching one of the cats in the kitchen window, and so don't do that. You're not supposed to chew on people's. Thank you. All right, so she is a beautiful healer mix. So my old dog Brana, that passed away a couple of years ago, she was German Shepherd, Mountain Feist, and Chihuahua mix. Well, she had puppies, and then those puppies had puppies and puppies and puppies and puppies on down the line. So this would have been Brana's great granddaughter, I think. Anyway, but she, anyway, I can't exactly remember the timeline myself. So, and I didn't pre-plan this video, so I'm kind of just doing it on the fly to get you guys up to date. But somewhere in that was introduced Texas Healer, which is Australian Shepherd and Australian Blue Heeler mix, to form Texas Healer. So she has Texas Healer in her, and both of her parents were mostly Texas Healer, I think. So the German Shepherd and the Chihuahua and the Mountain Feist kind of all got, I guess, bred out. So anyway, our dog Jula, my sister Teresa's dog Jula that's outside, is this one's aunt or great aunt. And then her parents, unfortunately, were half siblings. So when we got her, we knew all that ahead of time, because we got her from a friend of ours, and it was the same friend that got one of Brana's puppies a couple of years ago, and then it just kept going. So it was unplanned. This was not anything that the friend intentionally did as far as breeding these two. It was one of those things that unfortunately happened. And yeah, I've got music playing in the background, and because we're inside, I've got cats going everywhere. But anyway, Ayoka, and that is a Cherokee name. It means she brings happiness, which she does. But Ayoka was one of the runts of the litter, and she was born the last week of July. I forget exactly what day, but she's around, that would make her around 8 weeks old now. And I was really worried about her when we first got her when she was 6 weeks, because we didn't know if there would be any kind of birth defects. And she was so much, even now, she is still so much smaller than everybody else in her litter, except for one other little female. Now, their mama is about 25 pounds. She's kind of on the smaller end for a heeler, which is just fine by me. I'm really hoping that she kind of sticks around that 25-pound mark and stays on the smaller side. That's why I wanted a runt to begin with, but I was really kind of worried about what kind of limitations she might have. And other than her size and a few little oddball physical characteristics, I have not seen anything that would indicate that she is severely disabled or anything. None of that. She's very, very smart. She picks up on things very, very quickly, which I'm very glad of. And she has the most interesting eyes. Now, her mama's eyes are kind of a light yellowy brown. And it looks like little Miss Ayoka is going to follow that same trend. So it doesn't look like she's going to have the dark brown eyes. It looks like she's going to have the light colored eyes, which I think is fascinating. Now, I don't think you can see it on, maybe you can under the kitchen light, but she has this phenomenal red color. I absolutely loved her color. She's just so pretty. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm making her nervous holding her like that. She is already spoiled rotten, y'all, as you can see. But she is our newest baby. Now, I don't know if he'll let me pick him up or not, but we do have another new baby in the house as well. We have a little male kitten. His name is Cowboy, and he came from my Homestead Mentor's house. Blaine, you've heard me mention him in videos many times before, but he has barn cats, and it seems like they get some fixed, and then others have babies and then they get them fixed, and others. So anyway, so he's in a situation with the cats right now where it's almost like they're fighting a losing battle with getting them fixed before more babies are born. But anyway, so Angus, our cat Angus came from there. Our cat Maeve came from there, and unfortunately Maeve did have some physical things wrong with her, and she did pass away. But we still have Angus, and now we have Cowboy. And Cowboy, if I can find him, hold on just a second. Let me pause the video for a minute and go get him. Okay, so this is Cowboy. Isn't he so cute? And when we first, I don't know how long he'll let me hold him. He doesn't like being held in a typical cat, but I wanted you guys to see him. He is 4 months old, and we've had him since he was 5 weeks old. But he came to us with a little bit of a respiratory infection, but he's doing much better now. He does have allergies. That's why his eyes are gunky right now, is because he does have allergies. But he is a sweetheart. He just doesn't like being held for long periods of time. But he's 4 months old. I think I said that already. But he is our newest kitty cat. So I'm going to set him down because, like I said, he got the name Cowboy because when we looked at his black and white fur, for whatever reason, my sister was like, he reminds me of a Holstein cow. And as soon as she said it, it made me think of it too. So we were like, well, what kind of name can we give him to go along with that? So Cowboy. So now you've seen the two newest, and Cowboy and Ayoka are playmates. They have a great relationship with one another. So I think it's kind of funny to watch them play, and I do have one video of them playing together. But Cowboy is a total sweetheart. and he lets Ayoka crawl all over him, and as long as she doesn't bite too hard, he doesn't care. Also, that's kind of the story with my older dog in the house, Shifra. Shifra is 10 years old, and we call her Shippy for short. But she lets the puppy play with her as well. Now, she does get kind of aggravated, as a 10-year-old dog would, to have this puppy chewing and nipping and that sort of thing. But the plan with Ayoka is to, when she's old enough, she will be transitioned to an outside dog. And I am working with her already to come when she's called. I'm working with her to the command of leave it. I'm also working on teaching her some other commands and desensitizing her to the chickens. I've got a cat playing with my camera right now. So I'm desensitizing her to the poultry as well, since those are the two animals so far outside that she shows the most interest in, and it's not a good interest. You know, you can really see the gears turning in her mind and everything when she sees those animals. And so those are the animals that I really want to desensitize her to first. The other thing is, sorry, Nacho is over here, and I think she ate too much. Yep, she ate too much too fast, and it's made her sick. So I got a mess to clean up over there. But hold on. Hold on. Okay, so now you know why I don't film downstairs in our house very often, is because I get totally distracted by all the animals. Sometimes it's like having a house full of toddlers. But Nacho has a bad habit, like several of our other cats do, where she scarfs and she gets sick. And so we have had to research into like puzzle feeders and things like that, because for whatever reason they think that they have to eat as much food as possible, as quick as possible, and then it makes them sick. So we have to monitor the feeding. Anyway, so now you have seen our newest inside animals. Let's take you out and let you see our outside animals. So this is how it goes when we come out. She has not quite figured out the steps, so she kind of gets stuck on the top step, and then I have to pick her up and carry her. Come on, baby. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, goodness. Whoops. So she'll follow me. Goodness, this camera tripod is all over the place. I'm sorry if you guys get motion sickness. I apologize. So let's just go this way. Come on, Ayoka. Go. Whoa. She has a bad habit. This is something else that I've got to train her when we come outside, is that she likes to stop right in between my feet. And unfortunately that's not good, because she can make me trip, and it also can cause her to get stepped on with her size. So I'm gonna have to really watch my steps while we're out here. But this is the track that we normally take. We come over here and we visit with the cats. So we've got Tally right here, and then Shadow is the black one, and then that is Riona. And these are our outdoor cats. We do have a barn cat that is the mama cat to some of our indoor cats. I know that was really confusing there. Maybe if you follow it slow or watch that bit for a few minutes, you'll get it. But her name is Ghost, and I think I've talked about her before. but she's still here, and she absolutely loves hanging out with the chickens and the juvenile turkeys. That's her flock. That is not our flock, that's her flock. Now you will notice in the background that I have quite a bit of yard work that needs to be caught up, but we'll get to that. So here are our turkeys. They just went through a molt. These are my bourbon red heritage turkey. We got Gunna here. That is the Cherokee word for turkey, and that is his name, and his girls. And like I said, he just went through a major molt. Nettles out. I don't know. Let me see if I can turn that around so you guys can see this. Yes, I am aware of the yard, but I'm trying to get there. There she is. Nettle is out. So, all right. So I need to get in here and clean out the turkey pen. We had 3 different hatchings this spring and summer season, and I pretty much sold all of the turkey poults from the first hatching. I sold all of them. We have 11 over there that are left. They will be ready for freezer camp in February, so that is the intention. Ayoka, that is not the best place to lay. Then we have our 2 rabbits in here. They're chilling in the back. And this pen really needs some work. So we'll continue on this way. Ayoka. So here she is, following behind little Ayoka. She's very good about following. And I've really praised her for that. But again, I'm having to now work on when we stop, she stays out from underfoot. So you heard me mention losses at the beginning of the video. And this summer we lost our oldest breeding goat female, Boudica. We lost her. And we have lost all of our bucklings that were born this year, and it was the heat of the summer. They just could not tolerate the heat that we had. It was awful. And we're still in summer. I mean, it's not going to be fall until like the 22nd. So a couple more days, I think, until the first day of fall. And it's still pretty hot and humid out here for North Carolina. But yeah, so our kid pen is completely empty right now. The only surviving kid that we have from this year's births is little Nettle, and she is the female that we wanted to hang on to for breeding purposes. And yeah, the only thing we could come up with that caused their death is the heat. Because we had treated them for parasites, we had given them their shots, we had given them vitamins. We scanned this pen for anything and everything that could have possibly caused any kind of sickness or anything, and we just couldn't find it. We couldn't find it, and so the only thing we could think of is the heat. We had 1 week at the beginning of the summer that was just unbelievable heat wave here. And I mean, we had, the temperatures were around 98, 99 degrees, but the heat index was sending it up into like 120 is what it was feeling like out here. The humidity was insane. And unfortunately, the goats just couldn't, that's going to affect the oldest animals you have, and that's going to affect the youngest animals that you have. And unfortunately, in our circumstance, it just wiped them out. We were giving them water every day. They all have shade in their pens, and it was just awful. It was and so during that first heat wave week at the beginning of the summer, that's when we lost Boudica. And then we had another week later. The goats are playing over here, you guys. Let me see if I can turn it around so you guys can see them. Hold on just a second. But let's see if we can zoom in so you guys can just see these girls. These girls are being so silly right now. Look at them jumping around over there playing. Now Nettle has since gone back into the pen with the other two girls. There they go. Yep. So they're over here playing, you guys. So that is Anya and Boudica and little Nettle. So those are our does that are left. And we are coming up on our next breeding season. We breed our does in November so that we can have spring babies. And there are plenty of people that actually do it in reverse, where they will breed in the spring and have fall babies, and they claim that that makes them hardier. But the problem is that you have to be able to monitor that, because with the weather that you can have in the winter, if you don't get those babies dried off fast enough, especially with as humid as we have it here, even in the winter, that cold, because of the humidity in our climate here, it's a kind of cold that just soaks in, because it's a wet cold. It's not like out west in Colorado or Wyoming or something like that, where the winter is dry. Here it is a very wet, very humid winter, and that kind of moisture just makes the cold that much worse. It just kind of sinks in, and so it makes it hard on us to have to come out here and monitor births, and it also makes it harder on the animals. So we just switch. We do the reverse, where we breed in the fall, we have babies in the spring, and then that way it's just a little bit easier to tolerate all the way around. So yeah, they're over there playing. That's Nettle that you see by the shed there. There she is. That's Nettle. She was the only surviving kid that was born this spring, and she will be big enough for breeding in a couple of months. There's Ayoka and Bronwyn. They're still playing. But there's Nettle. There they are. And I guess they're also trying to determine who's going to be the next herd queen, because Boudica was the herd queen before she passed. Then over here we have Granger, and here Granger has been quite musty. He is perfuming up because he is getting ready to breed. So look at him stretching to get to the tree limbs. Hi, Granger. So I needed to give him water today, but so now and we'll keep moving. So, and Ayoka is right at my heels. So Ayoka is very used to walking with me down here. She has been introduced to all the animals, and the goats don't particularly like her, but she doesn't really pay them much attention either anyway, which is good. So I'm really trying very hard to get her used to all of the animals and getting used to them interacting, because I know that for goats anyway, whoo, he is really putting the perfume on today, and it just hit my nose, y'all. If you know or have ever dealt with buck musk, you know what I'm talking about. It is overpowering. Dude, did you bathe in it? Oh, it just hit my nose, and I'm just like, what? I can't breathe. But that's normal. We need to get down here and cut some grass or let them loose. And yes, I have more gray hair. What you think of that, Ayoka? I'm trying to get her into frame. There we go. So this is what I want to see from her. This is the behavior I want to see, where she is just not even interested in him at all. And I think that's good. Good job, Ayoka. Let's go see the girls. So here she is. Come on. She's very little, but she can handle, and I'm sorry if I'm making anybody motion sick. I don't particularly like this selfie stick. It is not the best one I've ever had. But as you can see, she is quite capable of following me all around the yard. Now, I do go at a very slow pace for her. I give her a chance to rest. What you think? Let's go visit. Let's go visit. All right. There we go. Hi, girls. There's Nettle and Boudica and Anya. Hi. How you doing? What you think? Oh. Are you? Nope. For a minute there, I thought Ayoka was going to go right up to the fence and greet them, but then she chickened out. How are you girls doing? Hi, Nettle. Hi, Nettle. So you can see they are all attention because Ayoka is at my feet and trying not to spook them, but I want to give them a chance to get to see each other and get to interact. So it's hard to get it on camera because Ayoka wants to be right at my feet instead of being out of the way. Okay. So, are the ladies for you one more time. Hi, Bronwyn. Hi, Anya. So Bronwyn is the one here on the top with more black on her face, and Anya is the one that's below her. And over here is Nettle. She is a beautiful buckskin. And these girls are, I don't know, Teresa could tell you their colors better. I know that one's a buckskin. I don't really remember what their colors are called. But Teresa could tell you all that better than I could. But yeah, we've got some neighbors that live through the trees down that way, and they have dogs that like to bark a lot. Eventually we would like to get all of this lower part fenced in, but it hasn't happened yet. Ayoka, are you gonna go say hi? Y'all, this is how hard it is to get her in the camera because she wants to be right at my feet all the time. All right, so let's head back up towards the house. I'll show you the garden area. And then, come on, baby. I'll see you girls later. You got food and water, so you're good. I'll show you the garden area because I do have different plans for it this year, or well, next spring. I have decided to wait until next spring to do anything new with it. There's whoops. There she is. There's Auntie Jula. And her and Ayoka get along really great. Hi, Jula. Hi, Jula. And here are the chickens and the remaining turkey poults. And again, I apologize for the camera work. And then we have the garden area over here. And I have a puppy that has decided to lay down. Let's see if we can. Hi, darling. She says it's hot and I'm getting tired. Yep, but you can do it. All right, so let's head up here and we'll look at the garden first and then the turkeys and chickens over here. Okay, so this is what I have done with the garden so far. I had back in July we mowed down what was left of the garden because we weren't getting too much out of it at that point. It was overgrown with weeds, and so I really just, and you can see what's left of the greenhouse tunnel that was supposed to be over there. Yeah, it's another one of those projects. But yeah, so we just, once we got back from our family vacation in July, we just tilled all of this down, and this is actually a 50 by 20 plot that we've covered with plastic. I wanted to do a 20 by 30, but I didn't have enough black plastic to do the other 10 feet here. And I really started researching about the no-till method and the back to Eden method and all that, and I've been trying to learn more about permaculture, because that's what I would like to do with this garden bed. Is I want to do a no-till garden bed. I want to try it out and see how it works, see if I can make it work here. And I would like to do something along the lines of permaculture for the entire yard. And what permaculture is that you are setting up a mini ecosystem that works naturally. And that's what I would like to do here. And I've got my little sidekick here. She's just relaxing and chilling. She will also start leash training soon. But yeah, so that's the plan with this garden. Is I've got this 50 by 20 plot here. So probably in January or February, I need to come out here, uncover it. I need to put down a thick layer, and we're talking several inches thick, of compost, and then mulch on top of that. And then in March, I'll be able to do like some cooler season planting, and then from there I'll be able to go into my spring planting, and just keep a rotation of stuff going from there, because eventually I would like to have a 3-season garden going on. Now I still have these raised beds over here, and I tried moving them. I was only able to move like 4 or 5 of them out of the way, but since they're here, I'm going to try and utilize them, but I've got to get all this cleaned up, and I'm kind of waiting until things cool off and die back so that I can just come out here and clean it out really quick and be done. And I've got some eggs to gather, so let's move our attention over here. So these, oh goodness, and the spiders are out. Sorry, I just stepped into a big old huge spider web. But anyway, this is the new chicken pen. Now I did have a chicken pen over here, back behind where that trailer is. Hi Jula. But we moved it over here. One, it's a little bit easier to access from the house, and 2, they have a little more shade over here, because there again, we're really concerned about the heat. But you can see I've got some eggs to collect that are just laying on the ground. Now, we do have plans to put in nesting boxes underneath this tarp on either one side or the other. Probably on this side is where we'll put some nesting boxes, because I would like to put some roosting posts on this side, and then you can see our water and feed there. But yeah, so this is our chicken pen setup. We're also talking about getting some wheels to turn this into a tractor type setup, so that we can actually move it around the yard as we want to. So that's also something that we have talked about doing. Now, here is a chicken coop that I had bought originally so that when we had new chickens that were ready to come outside, we could introduce them to the flock slowly. But this has become our turkey grow out pen, and they've dumped over their water, so I'm gonna have to get them some more water today. But this is all of our turkeys. There's 11 of them in there, and they will be big enough. I see at least one tom so far. It looks like I may have 2 other toms in there that I can tell right off look like toms. The rest of them look like, oh, that one might be a tom too. I don't know if you guys just saw him splay his tail out a little bit. That one's definitely a tom. So we may have more toms than I realized. But yeah, I've got to come out here and give them some water, because they've knocked theirs over. So, and I got to get those eggs too. I don't know if Teresa... Y'all, this is so cute. Hold on a second. Oh no! Oh no! Ayoka was laying at my feet and it was so cute. Look. Look at this. Hi, babe! So, that's what she does. So, why have we not posted in months? And why is Teresa's usually the one that takes care of the animals, but she's not right now. So let's talk about that. Okay, now let me get you caught up. Oh, I'm gonna sit down here on this cinder block on what's been going on in our personal lives and why we haven't posted. And I'm sorry if the lighting sucks. We're just gonna go with it. So back in May, I was actually formally diagnosed with autism level 1. It's something that we kind of always suspected, just because of some personal tendencies that I have and things like that you guys don't get to see on camera. Anyway, this is something that I personally have suspected for several years now. And then my best friend, you saw her in my video about burnout a couple of years ago. We went on a trip. But so we suspected it for a long time. Autism does run in the family. But a lot of my friends and family, when I told them about my diagnosis in May, they were like, well, we would have never thought that you were autistic. And I'm like, that's because you don't really know a lot about how autism presents in someone. And it is considered a spectrum, which means that it presents differently in different people. And my level of autism is level 1, which is the mildest level. That doesn't mean that I don't have struggles. It just means that I am capable of being fairly independent with my life. It just means that I need... It's not that I don't need help or assistance, it's just that I need less help and assistance than somebody who is at a different level than me. So I've been able to live a fairly independent life. I was always considered the quirky one, kind of weird. I don't really fit in so much with mainstream, but I was always okay with that. The problem is, and the reason why I went ahead and got a diagnosis was because as I get older, those struggles that I talked about, they have gotten harder to deal with as I've gotten older. And the regular things that I would normally do in order to cope with the things I struggle with, they just aren't working anymore. And I kind of reached a point in my life
where I was just so burnt out with everything, and it was kind of like my world just kind of crashed. And now I'm in the process of relearning how to deal with things. So anyway, so I got that diagnosis, and you almost go through a regression, which I feel like I have experienced somewhat, where you forget skills. The things that you used to do normally aren't so normal for you anymore. And see, now that I'm actually thinking about it and focused on it, I'm having more trouble just doing this video because now I'm thinking about it. So I become more conscious about it and more aware of it. And anyway, so that's one of the reasons why I don't share it with everyone, is because the more I focus on that, the harder it is not to ruminate on it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And once you start ruminating on things, it's like having a hamster in a wheel inside of your brain, and it just goes on and on and on and on, and you get into this negative thought pattern. So anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'll move on. But just to say, yeah, I'm autistic, and the reason you don't notice is because autism is not always Rain Man autism or the good doctor autism. Sometimes it's just that quirky individual that doesn't quite fit in with the normies. I don't know what to call that. But anyway, I had to get up. That cinder block was getting uncomfortable. So that was May. June and July was normal, just homestead, everyday kind of stuff. End of July was our family camping trip, and this year in order for my mom to be able to go, we rented a cabin. June was also the month that I started my podcast. So if you guys like podcasts, then check out my podcast. Is called Homestead and Beyond, and I talk about my faith. I talk about sewing, because and historic sewing is a big part of the podcast, and then just regular homestead updates. And that is because I was like, well, we'll just see how it goes. But I wanted to be able to share more of myself on the podcast for anybody that was interested, and it gave me an outlet just to be able to talk about my special interest, which is historical sewing and history with that. And it gave me an outlet to talk about my faith as a Christian. So I do share prayer requests on there. I share Bible verses. I share whatever I feel like the Lord laid on my heart for that podcast. I am not a preacher. I'm not a prophetess or any of that. I am just a simple Christian believer who just wants to share the wonderful things that God has done in my heart and life with you guys. So, and there's also a Facebook page for that. So if you want to check out the Facebook page, I do post pictures and things like that. And I always post when there's a new episode. And there's Ghost. There's Ghost. Hold on. There she is, you guys. There's Ghost. Hi, Ghost. Hi. Oh, I'm getting slow blinks. Hi, baby. Whoops. Sorry, y'all. let's zoom back out. Oh no. So there's Ghost. And yes, what just happened there was an autism. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing as well. Maybe I'm ADHD. Who knows? Anyway, so check out the podcast. That happened in June as well. And I need to do an episode for that one as well because I kind of got slack after vacation with being on a regular schedule with the podcast. But I really lost some motivation and everything with the YouTube channel and with the podcast. Just because I wasn't seeing any growth. I wasn't seeing any new subscribers or anything like that. So that was kind of discouraging. And then I was like, well, who... Again, I guess it became those ruminating negative thoughts where I was just like, well, who wants to see all of that? Anyway, it's not anything new. There are a million other homesteads on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever. So I kind of really lost some motivation there. And I think that's one of the biggest things was what kept me from doing a video or a podcast episode was I was just like, really negative thoughts going on there because I was just like, nobody cares. And I didn't have anything new to share, or at least I felt like I didn't, because it's just the everyday goings-ons and happenings here at home, you know. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to see me folding laundry or sweeping floors or something, you know. Those things that so often fill our everyday. So anyway, we just didn't have a whole lot new going on, and other than what I've shared so far. The other thing is that my mom, she has needed a hip replacement for a while now, and she was slowly and painfully losing her ability to get around and to be mobile, and probably since July her mobility was getting to the point where she couldn't even leave the house because her hip pain was that bad. And so we were having to do a lot. I was also having issues with the Canary, which is my little yellow Aveo, my car again, and that was a whole situation too. So we finally got it back on the road now, and then my mom finally got her hip replacement surgery back on Wednesday. So she is recovering, which that's, my older two sisters are the ones that are staying with her most of the time, which means me and my sister Kelly are kind of your errand people, you know, or like in this case, I'm the one taking care of things here at home while my sister Teresa is staying with our mom most of the time. So that's the case there. And a lot's been going on with work as well, that I haven't really spoken a lot about. But the company that I work for has downsized significantly, particularly in the last several months, especially this year. And that's a bit concerning. So it's been spending a lot of time praying about what the Lord's will is concerning employment, whether to stay to see what He does where I'm at, or if He would open a door somewhere else. And I'm just being honest. I am still currently at my job, so, and I don't want to speak poorly about the company. But at the same time, when you see the place that where you're working, downsizing to the significant levels that this company is downsizing, tends to worry you. It causes some anxiety and worry because I know that how much my household depends on my income. So with that being said, I've really been in prayer about what God would have me to do. And I haven't made any moves one way or another. But at this point in time, I don't know. I know that God has it in His hands. He's in control. I just don't know what He may do. I don't know if I have been praying that if it's His will to keep this company going, that He will, and we'll get some new business in and things will start picking up, and that'll be great. And I'll stay if that's what God's will is. But also, I have also been praying that if it is not God's will for me to stay where I'm at with this company, that He will open the door somewhere else, and He is fully able to do that as well. But the thing is that unfortunately, Yoko's exploring. But our society runs on that income, and we're not exactly in a good spot right now. So, a lot of faith is going into the day-to-day, just praying about what God's will is and trusting that He will take care of us, because that's what He has promised. And He has done some miraculous things. That has also been part of, at least a small part of, why I haven't done a whole lot of videos is guys, I have been in a spiritual struggle for a little while now, and it's just been a daily the Bible tells us about how we fight against principalities and powers, and the spiritual warfare is very real, and I have been feeling it for a while now, and so that has also been a part of this journey. And some days are easier than others where that's concerned, but God's got it. And I want everybody else out there to know that God loves you. God wants you to know Him. God wants to have a relationship with you, and you can have that through Jesus Christ. So if you have never trusted Jesus as your Savior, please do, because it is transforming. That's not to say that you won't have struggles. That's not to say that there won't be challenges or difficulties, but what I am saying is that God can and will get you through all of those struggles and all of those challenges, and He continues to be faithful and loving and full of grace and mercy and forgiveness and love, and He will get you through. I have seen that. I am a product of that. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. So anyway, I guess that gets us pretty caught up. So now it's September. So yep, Nettle's out again. I kept hearing some type of movement off to the side here, and I was like, what is that? And Nettle is out again. That'll change once she gets a little bigger. But anyway, let me get this puppy inside. Let me get some water and everything for the animals, for these poults especially, since they knocked theirs over. And we'll see you on the next one, okay? All right, have a good one, and thanks for watching. All right, bye.